Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and it's all over for another year. We have a new friend in the Eurovision Hall of Fame, just as I promised, but then again, when was that ever not going to happen? So yes, Israel has won the Eurovision Song Contest 2018, and yeah, I'm happy with the result. I kind of saw it coming, but not completely, so yeah, good, cool, yeah, fine, sure. Good song. I'm glad it won. My friends, some of my non-Eurovision friends have also, they've texted me and said, oh wow, Tess, this is definitely the right song to have won, so you know what? This has generally been a good year. So what I'm going to do, as I do every year, is go through the final results in, I would say, from 1st down to 26th, and think any thoughts that I have post-show. Predominantly just because I know people are going to want to hear my thoughts on the winner first, and then you're probably going to disappear after that and not even watch the whole video, so might as well give you what you're here for. I may also think about the semi-finals. We'll see if I have any room in my brain left for that sort of thing. So, yeah. Israel won, Netta Barzilai, Toy. I had strong feelings about this one from the very beginning when it was first chosen. It had a lot of views on YouTube. It's really not that much of a surprise that it was a contender, and I'm glad it won. You know, I did say before the contest that Netta had kind of already won insofar as she'd made the people of Israel excited about Eurovision. And I wasn't saying that to mean, oh, that means she's automatically gonna win Eurovision because she's popular. No, I'm saying to get your own country excited about Eurovision is a victory of its own kind. That's got nothing to do with the actual result of the contest. It's, she made her country excited, and Sebelter made his country excited in 2014, and Switzerland didn't even come close to winning the 2014 contest, but he still had that victory of making his country excited for the contest. So that applies to Netta as well, and she has the bonus of winning, which also gets her country excited. And that actually extends to 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place as well. So Cyprus came 2nd. I still don't fully understand why it did as well as that. I'm not going to begrudge Eleni the right to have come 2nd with Fuego, but, usually, a song that does well has a load of hype behind it before the contest starts. And yeah, Cyprus kind of did have that, but not until the 11th hour where the bookies suddenly decided, oh yeah, this is one of the favourites. Okay, why? I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but just it's kind of a random thing to appear out of nowhere. I mean, I'm not objecting, it got people jumping, people enjoyed the song, came 2nd. Good, fine. Again, it's got Cyprus excited because this is their best placing ever. They've come 2nd. If you were to tell someone from a couple of years ago that the next 2 top 3s were going to be Portugal, Bulgaria, and Moldova, followed by Israel, Cyprus, and Austria, they would tell you where to shove your predictions, but it's true, and it's made people happy, and if it makes people happy, then, who are we to argue with that? And I think it's a good thing, and Austria coming 3rd as well. I can honestly say, out of everything that happened this year, Austria coming 3rd is the one that I absolutely did not see coming at all. And I need to word this carefully, because as I said, I have never hated this song. I think some people got the wrong idea during my initial review of it, and I must have worded it really badly because a lot of people thought I hated it, and I never did. I have always enjoyed the song, I've always admired the, cinematography of the music video, and people thought that because I thought it could have been better, that meant I hate it. No, I've never hated this song, and I'm really glad that it did so well, sincerely. I'm not bluffing to cover my tracks or anything, sincerely. I enjoyed this song, and I think Cesar did earn 3rd place. It was so surprising and so surreal during the jury voting that 12 points go to Austria, 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 Austria. What? I mean, more accurately, I'm glad that there were so many different 12s going in so many different directions during the voting. It's just that after a while we settled into a pattern of Austria, Israel, and Sweden for some reason, and Cyprus. And it was a surprise because we knew this year was wide open, and this kind of proves it, because I think no one was expecting Austria to do as well as they did, and yet they did, and that's fine, cool, and good. I like that, proof that you can do, anything can happen at Eurovision, and I'm glad that this did so well to prove that. And similarly, Germany, 4th. I voted for Germany. That performance was so moving. Good for you, genuinely good for you, Michael Schulte. And also, someone on a Discord server of mine also pointed out that, get yourself a relationship like Austria has with Germany, where they both came last with 0 points in 2015, and yet spin forward 3 years, and here they are at the top of the table, also together. And it's just so sweet and endearing to anthropomorphize the concept of a country. But Germany absolutely deserved that 4th place finish, and so, yeah, again, I think that's going to make Germany excited for Eurovision again, the likes of which Germany hasn't really experienced since Lena. So yeah, I'm expecting big things of you next year, Germany. Don't let us down. And then Italy coming 5th. Now, I will say, both France and Italy have tickled me a little bit this year, because Italy was a hot favourite last year and came 6th. And then this year, with a song that was nowhere near as celebrated as Occidentali's Karma, they placed one better. And similarly, France, with a hot favourite song this year, placed 13th, as opposed to the 12th they got last year with, again, a song that people didn't much care for because they thought the English language lyrics in it ruined it. So, in both cases, seeing fan favourites get shut down in unexpected ways is kind of amusing to me. Like, honestly, I'm glad these songs got the recognition they deserved. It's just amusing that that's, you know, relativity and comparisons and stuff. It's all just patterns in numbers, but it amuses me. Now, before I properly start picking up the pace and rattling through my thoughts on the rest of the show, because I only really wanted to think in detail about the top 5, I do want to give a shout out to the Czech Republic, Nicholas Josef, basically proving my Patreon video right, that this was kind of their big break. Now, hopefully, the Czech Republic will build on this success in subsequent years, because, like, last year, Martina Barta was kind of there to prove that, like, off the back of Gabriela Gunčíková, or just basically anything from 2015 onwards, like, the Czech Republic has entered a new era. They've gone from being at the bottom of the scoreboard from 2007 to 9, to now they're, like, at worst 13th place in the semi-finals, and at best, qualifying. And Miklas has gone ahead and gone straight to 6th in the final, which is their best placing ever so far. Hopefully, this has demonstrated beyond any reasonable doubt that the Czech Republic is in with a shout at doing well, and hopefully they will keep this strength up in coming years. If we're lucky, that might even convince Slovakia to come back. Please come back, Slovakia, we miss you so much! How many amazing Slovakian songs don't exist because they gave up on Eurovision? Anyway, moving on to the rest of the scoreboard. Sweden, higher than I would have placed them, but it was so gratifying to see them completely tank in the public vote, just because of me being selfish and my personal just... Like, I have beef with Sweden, they can send anything and people will lap it up, so I'm just glad that this year, it just kind of showed that, hey, Sweden, you're not as immaculate as you thought. It was just amusing. And I think a lot of people in Europe had a similar reaction, judging by the comments under my reaction video to the final score announcement. Estonia, 8th place, respectable. I think in the end, that's kind of... Like, Estonia did deserve a top 10 finish for Alina's proficiency, but I would have put it at around 8th if I had to rank the finalists, because the song itself was a bit, like... As I said, the quality of the lyrics wasn't all that, and they were only in Italian because it's opera, but she can sing really well, and that was never under dispute. Denmark kind of doing what Poland did in 2016, like doing really bad with the juries and then shooting up with the public, that's completely cool and fine. Moldova running out the top 10, they deserved it with that stage performance, and it's kind of become a bit of a meme, like people applying countries and concepts and whatever to the choreography just to like make a point or whatever, and it's just precious. It's like the Eurovision version to the "is this a pigeon" meme, so that's cool and good. Albania coming 11th, that's their, what, 3rd highest placing in Eurovision ever, so good for you, Albania, you deserve that. Lithuania, I would have put them higher, but precious and cool and cinnamon. France placing 13th, yeah, top end of, like, top half of the scoreboard, fair enough, fine. Bulgaria 14th, why? They deserved so much better. Okay, I will say, I think the staging is kind of what did it for them, because some people didn't get it, some people found it pretentious, and it seemed like a mishmash of ideas looking back on it in the cold light of day, so maybe it's not that much of a surprise, but they deserve better than 14th. Norway 15th, which is the greatest fall ever experienced by a song to have finished first in its semi-final, because Norway placed first in the second semi-final and then tumbled to 15th. No other first place from a semi-final has ever done that badly in previous years, or so I've been told in my non-existent in-ear piece. Ireland 16th, they've got to be happy with that after their run of bad luck lately, so good for you, Ireland. Ukraine, this is actually one of their worst placings, I think, because I think last year and or 2005 were their worst placings, and then 2012 wasn't great for them, and then this is like 17th, which isn't brilliant by Ukraine standards. Like, the UK, we would kill to come 17th, but for Ukraine, it's still a good placing, and he still got, what, 130 points, so it's nothing to be sniffed at, but it's just not Ukraine's highest, which seems weird, because you would have thought this would do well, but, I mean, it didn't do badly. Netherlands, 18th. How did they finish so low? Like, it's still a good placing, and again, the UK would kill to come 18th, but I think it's the staging, again. I think this year proves the importance of good staging, because Waylon had a really great song, but the crumping made no sense. People tried to assume the staging was racist in some way, which seemed like no, that was never the idea. So, I don't know, I think it's the staging that did it in for the Netherlands. And then Serbia, 19th. Respectable, don't really have any thoughts to add to that. Australia, 20th, mostly because the televotes were having none of her nonsense. And, well, I say nonsense. Her live vocals weren't that flattering. Like, Jessica Bauer is so capable as a singer, and she just didn't bring that to the contest for whatever reason. I don't know what that reason was. She was brilliant in 2014. I don't really know what happened here, but I described it as looking and sounding like karaoke in the semi-finals, and that sort of extended to the final performance as well. But still a good song, still a good bop, and hey, at least it was in the final, though this is Australia's worst placing and their first non-top 10 placing as well, I think. But for the performance that she ended up giving, for better or for worse, I think that's fair. Now, how did Hungary only come 21st? They deserved so much more recognition than they got, but, I mean, it might be because they were on right before Israel in the running order, so I suppose that could be a reason. Now, when we were doing our household voting, because in the first semi-final it was just me and my mother doing our scores of 1 to 12 points, and then in the second semi-final my father would come home, and so he was voting as well, and then for the final, it was my father, my mother, and myself, plus Europe Scalo 8 and her fiancé, so the 5 of us were voting. That's the most voting we've ever had in a TessHex household vote. And I somehow didn't have room for Hungary in my top 10, and I don't know why that is, because they were brilliant. It's just there were so many good songs in this year's final, so I guess just forgive me for that. Slovenia, 22nd, probably because of the televote, which in turn is probably because of the, okay, to her credit, she didn't pretend it was a technical glitch in the final. I think that's the closest she could ever come to taking the technical glitch thing out of her performance, because, right, in the semi-finals she had it in there for dramatic effect, like, yeah, falling in there, oh, where's the music, bring the music back, clap your hands if you believe. Yeah, she didn't want to repeat that for the final because people know it's coming at this point. So she changed it to, okay, stop the music, we're gonna do it together as an audience, and that, I think, owning it in that way did improve it. And I think that's the best she could have done with it, bearing in mind, if she wanted to do her song without the break in it, she would have had to, change everything about her performance. She'd have to put a new version of her backing track into the playout system, and they would have had to reconfigure, the lights and the background and everything, the camera movements and whatever, to, adjust to this version of the song that doesn't have the pause in it. So, asking her to take it out, I think, in hindsight, would have been a bit of a big ask that, wouldn't have been achievable. So I'm glad she at least did something different with it. Still, I think that's probably why it didn't do so well with the public. Then there was Spain. Spain, you were so cute. Why did you do so badly? I voted for Spain. I will disclose my full votes in a moment. But yeah, Spain deserved better than 23rd. They're just so cute and so sweet. I think it is the curse of performing second. It might be because of the lack of staging. I thought it was understated and suited the song just fine, but it wasn't to everyone's tastes. United Kingdom, 24th. I've already made my thoughts on the stage invader quite clear in the reaction video. No cause is so important that it justifies ruining someone else's months and months of hard work. And if you do that, we will not support your cause no matter what it is. You could run on stage and, grab someone's microphone and be like, yeah, save the orphans from whichever country. Save the orphans. And we'll be like, f*** off, this is not your platform. You might have a valid message, you probably don't if you're going to resort to stage invading, but even if you do, we will not care. This is not your moment. Go and earn the right to be on that stage, because pitch invading is so entitled and so rude, and you know what? Mad credit to Suri for that recovery, because she pulled it off in such a professional way. A lot of artists would not have been able to carry on performing after that. And kind of evidence of that is she didn't want to perform again. She was offered the opportunity to perform again, and she didn't take it. And I think that may have been a bit of a bad decision. Okay, if she didn't want to get on stage again, that's fair enough. But if that, having taken that decision, okay, so she was happy with her performance. But bear in mind, a lot of people will hear the song for the first time during the final. If you don't perform it again, one, a lot of the audience will not hear it in full. They will not have heard your song, your months of work that you're throwing down the drain. And for another, some people might view it as forfeit. Oh, we didn't get to hear the full song, but we'll hear it again at the end. We're not hearing it again at the end? Oh, I guess they've given up and withdrawn then. It's a careful game of player politics, not politics, but a concept called player politics. It's a psychological thing. It's to do with game theory. And you have to analyse how other people are thinking in order to form a strategy. It's got nothing to do with actual politics. So I think that was a poor decision, but if she didn't want to go on stage, that's fine. But then they should have just played her jury final performance instead, like after the last song had been performed. And I think them not doing that is kind of why the UK tanked a little bit. That said, did better than Sweden in the televotes, so suck on that. And I don't know how much of a difference it would have really made. Just in all fairness, there should have been at least some recognition, and they did, I think, use the jury final performance in the recap, so it wasn't completely unused, but it just, not performing it again at all seemed like a bit of a bad decision. But that does mean that no matter what happens, the UK actually has a legitimate excuse for not having done well. So if she had performed again, oh, well, we just didn't do well because she had to perform twice. If she didn't perform again, which she didn't, oh, well, we just did badly because she didn't perform again. So it's just excuses for us at this point. Joust has offered to write the UK's entry for next year. I think we should take that, because Joust knows what he's doing. His reasoning is, oh, well, the UK doesn't care about Eurovision, they just like to bully the contest, I want to fix that. Yes, Joust, that is me, except you can actually write music. So, yeah, Joust next year, please. But I'm getting off topic. 25th place, Finland! Finland, what happened? Like, genuinely, I don't know why Finland did so badly. I think it may have been because the formula of the song was designed to pander to one demographic, so that everyone else felt a bit alienated. It may also have been, you know, due to performing before Bulgaria, or, I don't know, after Australia, maybe, because Graham Norton, for commentating for the UK, he was like, oh, well, I think she's got a tough act to follow performing after Australia, despite the fact that Australia's live performance really wasn't great, in my opinion. But yeah, that's another thing, actually. Joust has criticised Graham Norton for his disparaging commentary, and I think there should be tighter regulations on commentating. As, like, San Marino had objections to Italy's commentary in the second semi-final, so I think there should be stricter rules about that, but again, time and place for that discussion. I think Sarah did all she could do, and once again she's been struck down by her curse of coming second, but in this case second last. Well, at least she was next to the UK, which is where they wanted to be, you know, because Suri and Sarah are good friends, and that's nice and cute. And Portugal did not deserve last place, in my opinion, but the staging did not convey what the song was about, so most people hearing it for the first time would be like, oh, the way I'm wording this is people watching the song for the first time and not understanding it and making assumptions. People would watch it and think, oh, it's just a lesbian couple singing about something that I don't understand, but they're trying to be cool, I guess. Like, they don't understand what the song's about, they don't understand the song's emotional heaviness, and the staging did nothing to clarify that. And I think they would have benefited from having LED screens, so Portugal, of all the countries, shot themselves in the foot the hardest with this. But I do think the song was underrated, and I think it deserved more credit than it got. Now, just take a quick look at my scorecard, because as I said, I made scorecards for this year. I will do that every year as long as people want me to. But looking at mine for this year, I actually marked down the songs that I voted for. I've been doing this for a couple of years. I voted for 8 countries in the end, which I think is the most I've ever voted in the Eurovision final. I voted for Spain, Lithuania, Germany, the Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Hungary, Ireland, and Israel all once each. I don't like voting too much because it is rather expensive. But yeah, I think this is the first year that I've actually called and voted for the eventual winner. I don't remember if I voted for Lena in 2010, or Conchita in 2014, or Denmark in 2013. I don't remember any of those, but certainly it's the first time in a while that I voted for the winner. That said, I wasn't able to vote in 2016, so it's not entirely a fair comparison, but there you go. That's how I voted, and I'll just give some brief thoughts on the semi-final results. Just pardon me while I scroll up, because I've got my computer in the background here, just so I can look at the semi-final results. So, Azerbaijan 11th, didn't see that coming. Belgium 12th and Switzerland 13th, kind of fair, they should have been higher. Greece 14th, again, I would have put them one place higher and moved Azerbaijan down. And I do feel bad for Iceland. They got nothing from the televote in the semi-finals. That's kind of to be expected, but still. Bulgaria 7th in their semi-final, like, wow, that's... And Austria 4th in the semi-final and going on to do so well in the final, like, crazy surprises across the board. Hungary barely scraping into the final over Romania by just 4 points. Latvia coming 12th. Malta being absolutely destroyed by the public vote. Why? Why? I'm glad that the juries appreciated it anyway. And San Marino second last. I am wounded. I am extinct. I am tilted, shooketh, and spiced. Hopefully they'll do better next year. So that's kind of the bulk of my thoughts. and anything else I think would just be me dragging this video out. So I have been and will continue to be Tessellating Hexagons, and I shall see you probably next year for more Eurovision thoughts about songs that haven't even been written yet. Unless you choose to follow me on Patreon, in which case there will be more Eurovision videos coming in your way very, very soon. Either way, see you when next I see you.